Welcome back. June is Brain Injury Awareness Month, and who better to talk to than Dr. Richard Brownlee? It's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you, Susan. Nice to be here.
It's great to have you. I know that brain injuries can be, they can range from very traumatic to very slight, and sometimes you can meet a person and not even be aware that they have a brain injury. You see it all, so tell us what you see.
Like we always see the worst brain injuries because a lot of them need surgery and that, so people that have skull fractures or bleeds in their head or brain, then we operate on them. But you do see a lot of people that have very subtle symptoms, people with whiplash injuries and that, they don't appreciate that they actually have a brain injury, like concussions and that. So I think a lot of people have symptoms that are ongoing that a lot of people wouldn't recognize or aren't aware of.
And brain injuries are often life-changing, are they not?
They are, like, again, it can be subtle, like changes in short-term memory or changes in personality and that the family or friends noticed, but general public wouldn't. But it can really have major effects. And the Kamloops Brain Injury Association is great because they provide services for people with brain injuries of all levels, so they can teach them things like how to take transit in the city and how to do like paying for groceries and things like that. Things that seem simple but people have trouble with after brain injuries.
And we have a very cohesive association here, and it is well supported in our community, and we're lucky to have that because I don't think all communities necessarily do. Let's talk a little bit about the boards that you brought as well. Some people die of brain injuries, of course, as well. We're not even talking about that part. I mean, I guess every brain injury is preventable, but how do you see it?
Like a lot of them are accidental, so car accidents and that presumably can be preventable, but they happen. So the majority of the severe brain injuries are related to car accidents. Falls are another common thing, especially in the elderly, and with the aging population, we see more and more of that all the time now. And we don't do any pediatric neurosurgery here, but infants and that fall downstairs or whatever get head injuries and they get shipped to Vancouver. But
yeah, and that's sad because that's lifelong for an infant. What are we saying here? Many people with mild traumatic brain injuries go unrecognized and untreated. How often does that happen?
Like, it's pretty common. I don't have the actual numbers for that, but we see lots of people again, that have subtle personality changes. Short-term memory is the most common thing that people get after head injuries, and quite a few people, they don't even appreciate that they had a head injury at the time, so they'll go to emerge after an accident or whatever, and they get checked out and they have imaging and it's all normal and they get discharged, and it's not for like weeks or months afterwards that people pick up on the fact that they actually have changes in their personality or their performance at school or just subtle things.
What about concussion in sport?
That's become extremely high profile because of all of the book and the movie Concussion and that. So it's raised the profile for sports like football and hockey, which is really good because I think it was another thing that was really unrecognized. People would get an injury in hockey and be sent back out the next shift type of thing, and repetitive injuries can cause cumulative problems.
Yes. How can you prevent concussions? We have a board on the screen that talks about it, but there's only so much you can do, I guess. I mean,
like bicycle helmets, forcing people to wear seat belts, those are all things that are major contributors to head injury prevention. So we see a lot less people with severe injuries, like people that used to get thrown out of cars would always get killed or have severe injuries, and you don't see that nearly as much. Recreational vehicles are a thing where we see a lot more injuries, especially things like the quads, the four-wheelers. So, and most people wear helmets, but some people don't, and they're heavy. So if you roll one of those things on top of you, we see a lot of that.
What's your take on motorcycles?
They used to call them donor cycles because we would see so many people that would have traumatic brain injuries, they'd be brain dead and they would be organ donors. And we don't see nearly as much of that as what we used to.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think people drive more cautiously, or the people that own the bikes are more cautious and drive like defensively. I don't know why it seems to be less, but it seems like it's more the recreational vehicles that we see more injuries in now, and car accidents.
At the Welcome Back Center, what do you offer to people who want to come in and see you? I mean, is it by referral from their GP? How does that work?
Like, I still do public consults, so if GPs refer people, then I see them in my office. If people have, most of the stuff we do at the Welcome Back Center is more chronic pain related, so people that have mostly non-surgical things that really don't have a lot to offer them in the public system or really long wait lists, they're the people that tend to come to the Welcome Back Center and it's a private clinic, so people can pay to have services there.
Okay. Anything else that you want to add about this? I know that the Kamloops Brain Injury Association, of course, is having their fundraising dinner next week.
Yeah, the survival dinner is next Saturday night, and there's 2 events that the Kamloops Brain Injury Society has every year that help fund their services. So the Gersing Golf Tournament is in September, and then the survival dinner is in June, and it's well attended usually, and it's very good. And those are the 2 major funders for the Kamloops Brain Injury Association. Without them, I think they would struggle to provide the services. So I encourage people to go if you've never been. It's a really nice event.
And they are always well attended. There's a huge support group for, you know, the whole Gersing movement. I mean, he just does so much for Kamloops Brain Injury Association, and that legacy certainly is continuing.
Yeah, like Gur is the one that really brought awareness to brain injury in Kamloops, and now that he's passed on, we want to keep his profile out there.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, Dr. Brownlee, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Susan.
Yes, you're very welcome. Thank you for picking that up. June is Brain Injury Awareness Month. Information on the screen if you'd like to learn more. We are back after a quick break. Stay with us.